and welcome back to MK Gardening. We picked up 5 tropical plants to put inside of our greenhouse, and we have never been so excited. We picked these up at our local Home Depot because a lot of our nurseries are not quite open yet. We do have some other specialized and kind of rare orchids coming to us later on in the spring, but until then we wanted to make sure that we had beautiful and lush plants to fill up our greenhouse in the meantime, and we found them in a wonderful variety, which we knew we would. There's so many amazing houseplants, especially like tropicals, that are out there that we could never have before because we have so many pets, but now we can. So all of our pet-friendly ones are still on our plant stand, and the toxic to animal plants will be in the greenhouse. 4 out of the 5 plants that we picked up, the tropical plants that we picked up, are from Proven Winners. Proven Winners came out with a new houseplant line called leafJoy, and within leafJoy they have all of these different collections that kind of go hand in hand with different aesthetics that you might be looking for. I think that this is fantastic that Proven Winners is kind of going this intentional houseplant route, because there really is a niche for houseplant lovers out there, whether it be the pet friendly or the toxic to humans and animals, but still nevertheless beautiful. They come in so many different leaf textures and blooms that I think having the vigor and the quality that Proven Winners gives in a houseplant, I think a lot of people will feel more comfortable and confident owning and caring for houseplants, knowing that they have jump-started being Proven Winners. Before we delve into each one of these houseplants, we got our mini fans in, and Ryan did an excellent job installing them. Our first one is in this upper corner, and then our bottom one is in this bottom corner right here. We're hoping for some diagonal air circulation happening with kind of a kitty corner action going on. But they were super easy to install. For the bottom one, Ryan just leaned it up against the cabinet corner, and then the wire came straight out the bottom of the door and then right around back. And then the upper one, we actually put it on a command strip, and we'll see how long that command strip lasts with all of the humidity, but we just zip tied the fan to the command strip so that it was hanging, and that will kind of hopefully be able to give that circular motion of airflow happening. And if we ever notice that the airflow isn't quite doing what it needs to be doing, we can readjust how we mounted them and make sure they're straight up against those holes, kind of drawing in directly that airflow from the outside as well. But super easy process, really nicely packaged, and we're really excited because they're really small and compact, which means that we can fit all of these plants in there that we just got. So let's go into all of these new tropical plants that we just got. Our first plant is called Sweet Dreams Exotica, and it is a prayer plant. We were so drawn to this plant based on the silvery green background and the olive green variegations of these leaves. It almost reminded us of stained glass windows. They're perched on these beautiful upright stems and kind of like table-topped. They're wonderful, very delicate and smooth and thin leaf as well. Wonderful texture. It also has this beautiful purple tint on the bottom of the leaves, which you know that I love a plant that can do double duty, have this absolutely beautiful pattern on top, silky smooth, and then just a gorgeous purple on the bottom. Completely different color scheme and giving that illusion that it has a lot more interest going on in your space. This will get around 36 inches tall. It's pretty tall. I'm not sure if it'll get like that in the greenhouse, but you never know. And it's going to want a low to medium light light scenario. So I think it'll be okay. It's not in a direct window, and it's going to be on the bottom, so the plants on the top might shade it a little bit from the grow lights, but I think it's going to be okay in that spot. And like with other prayer plants, they tend to curl their foliage up at nighttime and then unfurl it during the day. These baby ones do a little bit more of that than the big ones, but it's still just a fascinating feature of having a prayer plant. Now, this Sweet Dreams Exotica did come in a beautiful little tweed-like growing pot. It has the lining in it, so you can use it as a normal pot because it'll catch the water, won't let it leak through. However, I think we're going to take it out of this when we put it in the greenhouse because we don't want the moisture to kind of cling to this fabric type material and cause more mildew or mold than we need in this humid space behind us. So I think we will be taking it out of this cute little pot, and I might just pop one of our houseplants, our pet-friendly ones, in here instead. And before I forget, we did spray down all of the hardware and metal bits of our IKEA greenhouse with that WD-40 anti-corrosion spray, just to make sure that it had the best longevity that it could. Remember to take it outside, it's pretty strong smelling, and protect yourself when you're doing it. But again, all of these plants that we show you are going to be toxic to people and pets, so just keep that in mind. If you're interested in anything that we're kind of talking about today, that you put it in a place that's protected away from your fur babies. So this is the Sweet Dreams Exotica from Proven Winners, their new line called leafJoy. So check that out on the website and look at all of their different kinds of collections that they have going on. All right, on to plant number 2. Our second plant is also from Proven Winners, that leafJoy line. It's called the Mythic Bambino Alocasia. And this Alocasia is going to get 16 inches tall, so it's pretty much at its max height, which is great. And it's going to want a medium light, so a little bit more light than the prayer plant wanted. But I love this leaf texture. It's so sculptural. It has very glossy, almost waxy feeling leaves that kind of rib. It's in kind of like an arrowhead shape, and it has super dark green colorings with really light variegations going through it. So it's super interesting, and just like the prayer plant, it has a little bit of purple going on the underside of the leaves as well. So that's a cool connection going on. But how do you not love this? It almost reminds me of like giant dinosaur tracks, which of course, who doesn't love dinosaurs? But a very interesting leaf texture, different than all the other ones that we have going on. Again, this is poisonous to humans and pets, but such a great one to have in our collection. And I'm really excited how it looks next to all the other ones. So again, this is the Mythic Bambino Alocasia. Our third Proven Winners tropical indoor plant is the Monstera. So this Monstera is very vigorous. Another common name for it is the Swiss cheese plant, which you can tell by the wonderful holes cut into the leaves. Kind of the more immature leaves come out completely intact and bold like this, and then slowly but surely start getting those Swiss cheese identifying marks as they kind of grow up and develop. So this is a super iconic Monstera, very vigorous growing, and again, just wonderful leaf texture, different than all of the other ones. So we're being super mindful when we're getting our plants of which ones kind of are interesting, and I've always wanted a Monstera, so I'm really excited to try this one out. It's going to want low to medium light, so that's going to be great on the bottom. It's a little bit too tall right now to go on the top, and we will test and see how vigorous it is, because this is kind of a more trailing habit, a vine-like habit. So we'll see how it goes, how quickly it grows. when it's down there before we have to maybe find a different location for it. I don't know. We'll see. Really excited about it. Again, this is the Monster Mash Monstera Adansonii. Alright, moving on to plant number 4. Our fourth plant from the leafJoy series is called Mythic Melo Alocasia. So this is a different type of Alocasia. This one is so unique. I have never seen a plant like this. The leaves on this plant feel like snake skin. They kind of form the shape of a shield, and they get olive green to, like, you can see pretty dark, like a pewter black, and almost like a purplish sometimes when it's really deep. But the texture of this is like snakes. It is so bizarrely beautiful, and as soon as we saw it, we knew we couldn't like stop touching it and feeling it. I feel like this would be a great plant for kids if you could definitely teach them not to eat it, which I hope they wouldn't, just because of how wonderful it is to feel. It's very thick and rugged almost, so like I don't feel like I'm gonna damage the leaf at all when I'm touching it. Just such an interesting texture on it, and the bottom of the leaves are really smooth though, so it's very interesting that the top is so just like leathery is a good word, and then the bottom is so smooth. Anyway, so this is going to get up to 2 feet tall, max maturity, and it's going to want a medium light. So again, a wonderful spot in our greenhouse. I'm really excited about this one, and I think up against everything else, it's going to really stand out as like this bold, really interesting plant. So again, this is the Mythic Melo Alocasia from Proven Winners. And the last tropical plant that we picked up is an Anthurium. Now, we don't know the exact variety of this flamingo plant, but we were drawn to the coral color of the blooms, and the spadix inside is pink too. So instead of getting that like green one or yellow one, it kind of matches the flower by staying pink. So we really liked that the spadix did that. The foliage is nice and glossy green, taking on that kind of arrowhead type structure as well. But this Anthurium is going to want medium to high light, so we're going to put it towards the doors of the greenhouse to make sure it gets as much light as possible. And it's also going to be getting 16 inches tall in maturity, so it's almost there. It's getting there towards the top. We're really excited about the uniqueness and variety of foliage that we have for our tropical plants. We never thought that we'd be able to have them, so we're really, really pumped that we could put a greenhouse together in our home and safely keep tropical plants inside. So this one's going to be our last one we're going to tuck in, but we're also going to put our orchid in here. We might put our African violets in here. We're going to put our calathea in here. So we're going to fill it up with some of those pet-friendly ones that we initially got, just to give them the environment that they prefer as well. So we'll tuck all of those ones in here. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. We put everything in the cabinet, and even some of our pet-friendly ones. I think some of them will be a lot happier in a humid controlled environment than not. So I'm looking forward to see how they perform, these top ones, the pet-friendly ones, compared to when they were just in our room here. But we were just thrilled on how the tropical plants that we picked out look next to each other. I think just all together it brings a magical appearance to the room. I love the grow lights. The fans are really quiet, you can't really hear them, but they are working and I can actually feel it from here. So that's wonderful, knowing that there's air going inside of this cabinet is key to making sure that we do not promote any type of disease, because it is really difficult, you know, you're having such a humid environment the likelihood of some kind of mildew and mold is pretty high. So trying to take all the steps you can to prevent that from happening in the first place is an important step. So if you liked this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to Empkin Gardening. If you have any questions about an IKEA greenhouse, we would love to talk about it in the comments below. We're really looking forward to this project. It was so easy to put together, and I think it's going to be incredibly rewarding to see how these plants thrive over the next few months. Again, we are waiting on a couple orchids and some other things coming in, so that'll kind of really take up the amount of space that this little cabinet provides for us. But again, it's a small room, and this is the RUDSTA IKEA greenhouse, and the other ones we talked about were the Milsbo. So if you wanted to check those out, we'll tag those videos at the end of this one. But I hope you're having a great weekend, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.